everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to a chilly and cold edition of Family Morning Transformation with yours truly, DMP Speaks. Listen, guys, it's cold outside, and I live in Georgia, and I'm thinking it's hot Atlanta. And I come to report to you, it is not hot Atlanta. It is cold and freezing Georgia. Okay, it's cold here. And if you don't know, I'm telling you, you can come down here if you want. You can not wear a jacket if you want because it's cold. It is cold. But we are here and we are here to serve you and your family. So welcome to Family Morning Transformation where yours truly DMP speaks. My name is David M. Pinkster. I am an empowerment speaker, board certified Christian counselor, and a family restoration specialist, aka family coach. I'm here to serve your family because I believe every family deserves transformation. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a pleasure to be in front of you today. I won't belabor the time. I want to get to this information. This will not be long this morning because I have a couple of things to do with my family, but I want to make sure that I serve you with excellence and give you some information that I believe that will give you some insight, give you some things to really think about and to pay attention to. So the topic that we're going to talk about today, and I need you guys to share this if you'll be so kind, is why is your teen dealing with low self-esteem? Let me say that again. Why is your teen dealing with low self-esteem? That is the topic for today. Well, let's be honest. Let me ask that question again. Why is your teen dealing with low self-esteem? Is that a common thing amongst teens? I wouldn't say it's a common thing, but you do see it a lot and much with preteens, teens, young adults, even your adult child. But I'm focusing this morning on your preteen, teen, young adult, that they're dealing with low self-esteem. Now you might say, well, where does this low self-esteem come from? We're confident people. He or she is confident. They do different sports. Their grades are good. That might be all true, right? But there might be some things that they might not have expressed to you, and they're dealing with low self-esteem because a lot of times, and I wrote a couple things down, one of the things is they might not feel as valued as you think they feel. Does that make sense? They might feel devalued because they might feel, well, I have good grades, but maybe there might be some pressures that might have been placed on them by themselves, by their teachers, or you, right? So they don't feel very valued because they have to live up to a certain standard, right? And it's, again, let me make this disclaimer. It is nothing wrong with having standards because we all should have top level, and as my pastor says, premier, and I'm using that word premier, rules and regulations in our homes, but also how we run our home, how we talk to each other, how we move, and how we do things in our home. We should always have a level of value with our children, our families, but they might feel devalued, right? They might feel less than. It might be, again, a certain pressure on them. It might be a certain feeling that they are dealing with, right? And they're trying to get through it, but it's hard because they're still trying to find themselves. And because they haven't found themselves and they already feel low, even though they might be doing great, there might be another side of them that is struggling and battling because they don't feel valued. They don't feel what they do is important enough. They don't feel seen. That's my next day. They don't they don't feel seen. They feel like maybe their sibling is more important, or maybe your job is more important, or might be another activity that the family does or you do, and they don't feel seen. They don't think that you see them for who they are. Maybe their brother or sister has better grades than them, or or is more athletic, has more accomplishments, and they got 10 to their 2, and they don't feel seen, they feel overlooked. Some of them might not feel heard. Talked about this, I think, on yesterday. They don't feel like you hear them when they're talking, when they're explaining stuff, when they're opening up to you, being transparent, and you're not listening to them. And one other thing, they might not even feel important. They might not even feel important to themselves. And our job is to always let them know that they are valued, that they are seen, that they are heard, and that they are important. You got to remind them on a daily basis, no matter how you feel about yourself, I'm going to reiterate this to you, that you are valued to me in this family. You are seen. We see you. You're not a figment of our imagination. You're just not another child. You are our child, and we love you. We hear what you're saying. Not only are we hearing, we're listening, and we're taking heed to what you are explaining to us, of what you're battling through. And we didn't know that you were battling through these things, but we're here now. And that you are important. You got to let your child know that you are important to us, that we do value. So it is something that we have to do. But why? But why do they go through this? Puberty is a monster, because you're growing. Y'all know what I mean? The human anatomy. You're growing in different areas. You're looking a certain way, right? And they're trying to find themselves, trying to identify who they are, their character, right? They're trying to find, as an individual, who they are. And they need your help. See, along the way, they might feel that their emotions are all over the place and it's overtaken them, and they can't see what you see in them. I'll say it again. Some of your teens and young adults can't see what you see in them. So your job is to see and tell them what you see on a daily basis. I just had this conversation with my son. He wants to try out for volleyball. And I said, it's a great thing. He's a big football guy, but I said, I think this will be a great aspect for you to get into, because it's different. You're still working on your athletics and stretching and your muscles and all those things. But I think it would be a great thing for you to do. He's like, oh, Dad, I don't really know. I'm like, well, let me tell you, whatever that you do, you can do it. My wife was just having a nice conversation with him last night. Whatever you really, really, really put your mind to, your thoughts to, you can do it. And you got to tell your son or daughter the exact same thing, or even more. There's nothing that you can't do if you really are focused and you're committed to it and you're consistent with it. There's nothing that you can't do, because if we could be honest, some of our children, and you might say, what does this have to do with transformation for your family? If your child's mind, your teen's mind is not transformed, your family's not transformed. But you have to be able to instill those principles into their life, those things that they need to hear from you. Some teens don't even understand their worth. And as a parent, when your team has low self-esteem, it damages them if you don't go in and not trying to be a fixer, but to be an encourager, because sometimes they might just need your encouragement to fix their issue, to know that you are listening and you're hearing and you're taking in what they're saying to you, and you're not neglecting them, right? But you're focused on what they're saying. I feel like a happy child is a supported child. Let me say that again. A happy child is a supported child. because they're going to be able to draw from that happiness when they have that real support. Even in the darkest times of their life, they got to know, not just think, they got to believe, and they got to know that you're going to be there. Every step that they take, you're going to be there. Because there's a lot of kids out there that can't say that because they don't have the help. They don't have the backing. They don't have the support. And you have to be there. Being a parent is never easy. Being a teen these days, I know it ain't easy because it wasn't easy for me years and years and years ago. The only way that I was able to make it is because I had my mother, my father, and my sister to encourage me over and over. So even when I felt like I couldn't do it, because I dealt with low self-esteem, whether believe it or not, I dealt with low self-esteem for months and years. But I had my sister in my ear, God bless her. You can do it. I had my mother and my father, they were older, but look to God, you can do it. Same message, you can do it. Over and over, you can do it. Even as a young adult, I still struggle with my low self-esteem, but I started to remember what they said. You can do it. There's nothing that you can't do. Put God first. Put God first. You can do it. There's nothing that you can't do. So I went and I started to go back into my memory bank, and I started to remind myself, I can do this. Why am I saying this? Because I had the support. I had that support. And because I had that support, I was able to do something like I'm doing now, serving you and serving your family, because I had my family members doing the same thing for me. So let me close this and say, your child is dealing with some self-esteem, might be dealing with some heartache, might be dealing with some disappointment, and they haven't told you, but you have to be supportive. Because if you're not going to be, supportive, they're going to keep battling these things by themselves. And they're going to keep things bottled up when they should be able to release it, but they're supposed to be able to release it to you because you're supposed to be that protection. So we think fatherhood is just about protecting physically. Hallelujah. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I got a little happy this morning. It's more than just the physical part. It's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the relational, and it's the spiritual protection. Parents, we're supposed to be protecting. And if their minds are not well, everything else that they're doing is going to be thrown off. We got to make sure that we are encouraging our teens and young adults and letting them know, I'm here for you. You might be battling something, but you're not alone. I'm here with you. And if you keep telling your child this, even if they don't believe you the 10th or 11th time, the 12th time, they're going to believe it because of your personal consistency, with saying it to them. Listen, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Listen, I am looking for 10 families that are ready to make a change in your family's life. You have a teen or a young adult, or you have an adult child that you do not get along with. You guys don't see eye to eye. You guys are not on the same page. You're on different pages, and it bothers you. And it's even bothering your child, but they're not going to tell you that. But it's bothering you as a parent, and you want to do something about it, but you don't know how. You went to counseling, you read the books, but you need a family coach that's going to help you with better communication, bringing your family back together like it's never been before. Because I believe in my heart of hearts, I believe every family deserves transformation. Guys, thank you so much for your time. This is Family Morning Transformation. I'm going to show you some information, but I want you to be well, stay warm, not just in the physical, but allow your heart to be open to your child, to your teen or young adult, or even your adult child, and let them know that you love them and you appreciate them. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another session a family morning transformation. Peace.